So this is the Brinyte T28 Artemis, and I specifically asked for this one for a very good reason, and we're going to get into that right now. So people say, why are you getting excited about a torch? It's just a torch. Well, this is not just any torch. This addresses one of the biggest problems and complaints I've had with tactical torches from all the other manufacturers. But then some would say it can't be that bad. Well, they're dead wrong, and this is far superior, and I'm going to show you why now. Other manufacturers have a very big problem when it comes to producing red light, and red light to me is something very important, and it's not a good idea for me to demonstrate now, so let's cue some darkness. So why do I get so bent out of shape about manufacturers claiming it to be tactical when they produce a torch that produces another light? Well, to understand that, we must understand something about the visibility of different colours for the human eye. Now, on one hand, we have red, which that is the furthest on that side of the spectrum when it comes to visibility. It's far more difficult to spot red light at a distance for the human eye. Green, on the other hand, is complete opposite. Green is the easiest to spot with the human eye. Now, couple that with only having a mono output, as in it's 300 lumens, rather than something that's dimmable, because even though you may have red light on one of these things, it's not necessarily dimmable. And if you can't dim it, you might as well have white light at that point. So let's try some of their competitors, and we'll just see what results they get with their filters and so on. So that's why I get bent out of shape about these things, because when I buy a filter from another well-known manufacturer, the last thing I expect is a bloody puke rainbow pile of shit. So yes, as you just saw, this thing spills no green light whatsoever. Beautiful. And the other reason I like it is because, let's say I've got it on the middle setting for white light. I'm in the dark, I've not got it on yet, and I'm in a situation where I need red light straight away. Now, some other manufacturers have recently brought out models which will do other colours as well, and they have claimed them to be tactical. That's not the case. I'll name them. Olight have brought out a terrible product called the Freya. Now, why is it terrible? It's a tricky one. It's because they've claimed it's tactical. That's it. If they just said, oh yes, it's a light that does multiple different colours for different purposes, and they'd excluded the word tactical, I would not have brought this up at all. But they did. And that's what annoys me about this industry. Brinyte, as I said in the last video, are one of the few manufacturers where you think, well, they are thinking about the tactical aspect first, and then designing it around that properly, rather than just building a torch and then claiming it's tactical afterwards. So yes, as I was saying, if I'm in the dark and it's on whatever setting, it doesn't matter which colour it's set to. If I'm suddenly in a situation where I'm in the dark, I have to have red light, and I don't want to cycle through all the different colours of the rainbow to get to red and give myself away, I know without even looking that I just flip it to the right for red, and then I can turn that on, and I know without looking that this is now on red. And this is not just a button on the back, this is a dial, so you can turn it down and really get that really low level of red if you want. And that's another problem with the Olight Freya, for example. Its red light is one output only. What good is red light if it's super bright? You want to be able to bring it right down. That's why it becomes more tactical with this than any of the other ones out there. And all of the filters out there, they're all terrible. They all spill green light, and it is a byproduct of the manufacturing process for a high quality filter. Yes, you can buy ones that are pure red, that are cheap aftermarket, but they usually melt and they're terrible. Yes, that's why I'm excited about this. I have a project coming up in the middle of this year where I'm once again going to need red light. This is coming with me, and I'm not just saying that. I don't like, people said I'm biased towards Olight. No, I've just slated them quite badly. So this is why when I say I will use this, I'm dead serious. I've been after a light like this for quite a while. Brinyte have already contacted me this morning, as it happens. They already want to send me another one, which also does IR and red and all sorts. That one will be quite interesting too. So with anything tactical, you have to be able to weapons mount it. Just an old airsoft gun today, nothing too fancy. Now I've put it in a weird place. That's just me playing around, having fun, but you probably want to put it on the foregrip. Now you do have to bear in mind with this one, the size of the head, the diameter there is quite large, so you're probably not going to want to mount this on anything other than a quad rail where you've got a bit more space. Now the interesting thing about this is I'd say that this is far more geared towards hunting rather than self-defense, home defense, anything kind of like that. And the only reason I say that is purely because of the ramp times. So it's got nice prominent clicky buttons to turn on and off, as you can see there. But when you dim it, so you can go up and down, if I just press, it's on high at the moment, if I press and hold, you see how it takes quite a long time to ramp all the way down to the lowest setting, and then also quite a while to ramp all the way up to the highest setting. So what I would suggest, if you are going to use this for a home defense light on a weapon, set the brightness that you're comfortable using it at first, because it does retain the brightness setting when you turn it on and off via this switch here. Now, one thing that's quite interesting is that I have other lights that are weapons mountable and in a 21700 battery configuration. Now, this thing, it's a 21700, but the diameter of the overall body, they've really tried to kind of cut that down, because the other lights I've got that are 21700, I can't get this clamp over it because it's an 18650 clamp. Now you might think to yourself, well, oh, does that mean that the construction's not as strong? Have they used less aluminium to, you know, make it smaller? No, not really. I mean, at the end of the day, a cylinder is one of the strongest, you know, shapes you can use in constructing things. And if you honestly manage to deform the tube on this, it's probably because, I don't know, you're casually riding on the front of your Challenger Mark II tank, it slips out your pocket and you accidentally run it over with the tank tracks whilst you're going to the shops for milk and bread. You're not going to damage it. But yeah, if you're using the foregrip, you've also, if we turn it on for a second, you've got nice easy access to this switch on the side if you orientate it round that way. So if you do want to switch for hunting or whatever it is you're doing, it's nice and easy and it's right there. But that's enough about weapons mounting. Let's take this outdoors so you can actually see how kind of bright this is and what the different colours are, because the power output for the colours is slightly different, but we'll run through that. So as always, I've come down to my local little bit of woods to give it a test. I'm not going to do it the same way I normally do. I'm just going to go for a little walk. I won't subject you to the same music as I did a moment ago. I'll put something nice on, I promise. At the end of the video, can't guarantee though. So yeah, let's just go for a little walk, and at the very end I will walk out into the field with the more sensitive camera and I will do a comparison with the throw and the zoomed out. So let's have a little walk. So yeah, that was it outside in the woods, and surprisingly, yeah, the outdoor tests, it picked up way more on camera and is much brighter at a distance on throw than I thought it would be. So very quickly, let's take it to the table and you'll see what else it comes with. So very quickly, we'll just quickly dump the contents of this out so you can see what you get. Now, bear in mind that this is a sample box. When you buy yours, it will come in a proper branded customer box, not one of these. So, what do we got? We have their usual kind of instruction card style manual there. I have, well, as it's seasonal, I'm guessing that's going to be a little note from Kitty. It's always a nice touch that they send handwritten notes with their samples. Comes with USB, is it Type-C? Yeah, it is USB Type-C charge cable. It comes with a remote pressure switch for weapons mounting. Spare seals, always nice. Lanyard. And it's almost as if they knew I have a thing for Velcro patches. And then last but not least, we do have the light itself. And I must admit, I did request this one from them. They asked which model that I'd like to have a look at, and I said definitely this one. And there is a big reason for that, which we will go into. Now, there's no external charging port on this. Now, some people hate this, some people don't. Personally, I kind of like this. I'm not as much of a big fan of, you know, a rubber flap to cover a USB port on a torch. It's always just one extra thing to go wrong. And this one, as you can see, oh, there we go, got a little USB-C on the battery itself, and that's how you charge that up. And there's a little LED in there to indicate red or green depending upon its charge status. And yes, this is a 21700 cell. But enough about all that. Let's discuss the proper, you know, guts of this thing. So we'll quickly go through some of the specifications of this. Now, hold on, before you go nuts on this, the maximum output is 650 lumens. Now you might be saying, Simon, 650 lumens is so low. But like I've tried to say a million times, what about the Candela, the Lux? It all makes a big difference. 650 doesn't sound like much, but here's an example for you. I have chosen this competitor to compare this to, purely because, like the Brinyte, it has that perfectly even light distribution. Now, even in daylight here, you can see that the Brinyte visibly looks brighter. Here's the interesting thing. 650 lumens, supposedly 1000. So either they're lying or they're underestimating themselves. But again, that's what I'm talking about when I speak about things like Candela and Lux. Don't let 650 put you off. It's brighter than you think. Now, what unique features does this have? Well, not only do you have a colour selector here for green, white and red, you have a push button on the back which doubles as a dial for you to dim it down or turn it up. It does have a little green LED at the back. It doesn't change colour, it just tells you that the light's on. So one of the things a little bit of feedback to the manufacturer would be, honestly, get rid of that. It reduces your production costs, and besides, there's already an LED here that tells me if it's on. So that really not necessarily necessary, and I'm probably actually going to paint over that, because again, if you want a torch that just uses red light, you don't want green, even if it is just a tiny little LED. So I'm probably going to block that out. But one of the nice features about this is, if we turn it on for a moment, is it has a very even light distribution, which is very good from a photography perspective for light painting. And also it's a very nice flood. Outdoors, this thing floods really well. But what it also does is, you can see that the top, it twists because it's a zoomy torch. So if you want that throw, then there you go. And now you've got your distance. If you want flood, now you've got your flood. It's been a while since I've played with zoomy torches, but yeah, really do like that. Now, one of the other interesting technical aspects of this is the selector for the colours. it's not a digital selector, it's a mechanical selector. Now I'll cut to a little clip now that I took on my phone. I actually took the front of this apart so that you could see it more clearly, and it looks as if it's a PCB board with 3 LEDs along it that's being slid across on tracks rather than any kind of digital kind of things going on. The less digital stuff the better, it's less to go wrong. So another good thing about this is it doesn't require proprietary batteries. I've tried lots of different manufacturers' batteries in this, they all work. I've even used a plastic tube adapter and I've run this off of an 18650. Granted, you need to use the slightly longer 18650s because if you bounce the torch it turns it off. But other than that, it's great. In conclusion, that is a very, very useful tool, and I will be using this on a very serious project later on in the year. As you know, I like to provide a little bit of feedback to the manufacturer. So things for next time, maybe design changes. If we could get rid of the spill, if I turn that all the way up, so you can see just on the bottom part of my glove there's a little ring of red. If there's any way to get rid of that, that would be beneficial. Just for not being seen at a distance. Secondly, that green LED in the light at the back, just get rid of it, don't need it. And very, very lastly, and this is only a minor issue, to turn it on, if you just press it, it does not come on. You have to press and hold, and there you go. So it takes a couple of seconds to come on. If you could replace that maybe with an instant on off and then use press and hold as a lockout, that would be far better. This torch has no lockout whatsoever. However, and I've measured this with a thermometer, laser thermometer, this doesn't get hot enough to damage anything if it did turn on in your bag accidentally. Worst thing is you're inconvenienced by a dead battery, but you can carry more because non-proprietary batteries. But yeah, that is the T28 Artemis, and all of the details for this will be in the description below. They've even been kind enough to give us our own discount code, sub-expiration, so make sure you use that on checkout. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Колбасер по пояс голый.